If you're having paranormal issues, contact us at mwghosthunters.com. From the files of the Midwest Ghost Hunters.
All right, Midwest Ghost Hunters site investigation, recorder 1.
Oh, Dustin, right there. Something just moved behind you.
Yes, it did. What the was that?
What happened?
Something touched my ear, man.
What's that?
This is Dark Matter with Midwest Ghost Hunters.
Back at Pythian Castle again today, and hope everybody had a good time change. I can never remember if this is the one where you gain sleep, isn't it? Because you go backwards and you gain an hour.
Yeah.
You fall back.
It doesn't ever
spring
affect
forward,
me.
fall back.
I knew we fell back, but I can never remember in my head mathematically whether we gain or lose. But I guess this is the one where we actually gained a little bit. It's weird because I was on my way in here today. I came a different way, which is a nice way of saying I forgot where the hell I was going. I was thinking I thought I was going to work, but on my way here, and this has nothing to do with the paranormal, but I came down Division where all those little bars are, all those little bars, that have no windows to the outdoors. There's people there. I just remember on my way here thinking, what the hell are people doing there on a Sunday morning? Are they really drinking?
Yes, they're what are called alcoholics.
Well, I didn't even know these places were open.
I don't think they are, but they're still out there drinking.
I saw a man walk out of his truck and open the door and go inside on one of them up here. It was weird.
Could be a guy who owns the place, though.
Well, it could be, but there was also a parking lot full of cars.
Okay.
I wonder, I don't know. But I don't know. I thought that was odd. But yeah, I forgot where the hell I was going on my way here today. I thought I was going to work. Once I get going towards the interstate, that's where I think I'm headed. We do have an email. Where'd that go? I was going to address, and it's from Scott. And he says, we've been experiencing some weird stuff in our house. Lights turning off and on by themselves. A picture frame was pushed off a desk and shattered. Loud bangs on the walls. It's been off and on since we bought the house in 2003. There's also one bedroom in the house that just feels off. Like whenever you're in there, you feel like you're being watched. I'm not sure if any of this warrants an investigation. I live in mid-Michigan, so I know I'm out of you guys' range, but I was hoping you could give me advice on whether an investigation is needed to help me find a group nearby, if so, that can do it. As far as whether an investigation is needed, that's really, going to be your call. I mean, if you're thinking that the house feels off, I don't think it would hurt. I mean, that's what we're for.
The problem you're going to get into depends on who you have investigated, because there are guys, and one of which I'm a fan of, publicly I will acknowledge I'm a huge fan of watching these guys, but their problem is no matter what happens, they're going to go out and find a ghost. It doesn't matter if there's a ghost there or not. This guy is going to find a ghost, and that's the reason why I like to watch this individual, because of that. But if you get a group in there that practices the same thing, they could, I don't want to say misdiagnose, but mislead.
Well, and that's why I was spending some time here this morning while we were sitting here waiting to start, looking through different groups in that area to see if I could find one maybe that looked like it had maybe a little more seasoned than the others. And I was telling John that, part of the problem is, with this Paranormal Society's website that we actually belong to, that's supposedly the hub where you can go and find a group, anywhere on the planet, because you can do, domestic, you can do it, here in the United States, or you can do international and find groups. 95% of them, when it's got next to their group name and their location is a link to their website. 95% of those websites no longer exist, and that's not an exaggeration. I mean, if there are 40 groups listed on a page for a state, you may find 2 that have an active website still working. And there may be a couple that'll link to like a Facebook page or something like that. And that's really the best I could find here for Scott. But this group that I did locate here, it seems like they've been doing this for a while. And they are the Tri-City Ghost Hunters Society. And I believe I saw they are they're in Bay City. So they're in the same town. It's the Tri-City Ghost Hunters Society. If you just look them up online, it looked like all I could find was a Facebook page. That seems to be the way a lot of groups are doing it now. But if you Google those, Scott, you will it'll pull up their Facebook page, or if you just go to Facebook and look them up, Tri-City Ghost Hunter Society, they're right there in your town too. And as far as proximity, they're probably going to be your best bet. And it looks like they've got they're pretty active on here, and they've got, they've done some public things. So they're not just the flashlight havers that,
Well, you don't want the guy that I love to watch.
Yeah, I mean, that's like watching a train wreck, though. I mean, we wouldn't want to send someone.
It's so bad.
We wouldn't want to send a group in, like that, for something like that.
Right, and that's the problem is that there's a lot of those out there.
Oh, hell yeah. That's what most of them are. I mean, if you go to these websites and look, if you go to this, this directory, this Paranormal Societies, is it .org or I don't even remember. We've been members of it now for 15 years. .com. It's paranormalsocieties.com. And
that's free to get on there, right?
Well, it's free, but it takes forever to get listed. And then it takes even longer to change your name once you're listed, because you remember we switched to make it a little easier and to reduce confusion with another group in town.
How would you go about determining who was real and who was not? And if you don't know anything about this, they don't run in the circles that you run in.
Are you talking about a group?
Yeah. How do you know that if you're bringing in a good group and not a group of people that are there to catch the ghost?
Well, the first thing I look at on this website is, first of all, you whittle it down to what state you're looking at. So here we were looking for Michigan. Once you go to Michigan, it's going to bring up every group that's listed in Michigan. And it's going to tell you their location, and it's going to tell you their website, and it's going to give you an email, and it's even going to tell you how many members there are and what year it was founded. I tend to look whenever people are asking, like Scott did in Michigan, if they're wanting us to help them find a group, if we don't already know of one. Like if someone in Kansas City asks, we know of a group up there, that we could refer. But as far as this area goes, if we don't know, we go looking. And the first thing I look at is what year were they founded? Because if it was 2021, nothing against new groups, but I would probably
you don't have a track record.
And then the other thing I look for is and this may mean nothing to everybody else, but it's the thing I always look at. It shows the number of members, because there are some of these groups out here who have 23 members. And when you've got 23 members, you're just collecting people to go to places with you. So, I like, 5 to 8 members is probably about right. That's just what I look at. And then the third thing I look at is actually whether they have an active website and an active email or not, because most of these do not.
I would also go as far as to say, hey, what do you do? What's an investigation? How do you guys go about that? If somebody's using... Yeah. We bring in this gadget here that tests to look for different temperatures in the room. And then we do this to capture audio. We do this to capture video. I put a lot more personal credibility in that than if they say, well, we bring in our ghost app and we try to talk to the ghost and stuff. I personally don't think that's accurate.
Right. And like I said, I don't know this group I don't even know who they are, but that's what I was doing is I was looking through here just trying to get an idea of what kind of method they use. And they look pretty, they look like they do things pretty much like most of us do. I can't say that, 100%, but I don't know. I've looked at some, like you were saying, I looked at some groups before.
And there's a guy.
And there's a picture of like their toolkit, and there's a Ouija board, and there's a, whatever.
Well, there's a guy that I'm always sending videos to everybody here in our group about because I love this guy. But I would, in no if I was dealing with what I thought was legitimate paranormal activity, that's the last person on the planet I'd want in there dealing with that.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to say who that is, but...
I mean, I'm a huge fan. Tyler would be an even bigger fan, and me watching Tyler watch him would be the best, but that's another story.
Tyler would never watch him. You've sent, I don't know how many links you've sent, but he's never going to watch one. He's never going to watch. Anyway, but we kind of got off a little bit there, but that was, I didn't respond to Scott's email because I was going to wait until we got here, and then since he's a listener of the podcast, I thought we might just respond on here. It was a hunt. Michigan is one of those states that's a little thin on active, or at least groups that have an active website, and
How's Missouri? Are we pretty heavy in them?
There's 174 here. There's 174 groups in the state.
In the state of Missouri?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's towns on this listing I've never even heard of. Like, where's Bernie, Missouri? I have no idea. Are these like, suburbs of like Kansas City or St. Louis? Maybe.
I don't know, but they've got to name themselves Bernie Paranormal.
What did they call themselves? Where'd they go?
Or Weekend at Bernie's.
Backwood Paranormal is who that was. But if you look over here, I bet if I click on this right here, yeah, that is a dead link on that one.
It's the problem when it's free to get listed is that you could just... and your friends one weekend.
That's what they do. That's what happens a lot. And then I bet if I click on, let's see, I'm going to, out of the first 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, there are 8 listed there. I'm going to click through them here. Out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, what was that? Did you hear that?
That.
Yeah. I just heard it.
That was something.
Definitely heard
good.
that, 100%. Out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 listed here, one of the websites will open. That's out of the first 8 listed. And actually, that website, no, I take it back. Out of the first 8 listed.
That's a motorcycle.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a motorcycle. Out of the first 8 listed, none of the websites open. So anyway, Scott, I hope that helps you. It's Tri-City Ghost Hunter Society in Bay City, Michigan. They're close to you. They're in the same town there. Hopefully, if you get a hold of them, they can help you out. If not, get back in touch with us. We'll help you find.
How do you find a good group? We have no idea.
Well, I mean, that's for me. If you don't have an active website, you're not very serious about it. Even this group I just referred Scott to, they don't even have a website. They only have a Facebook page. For me, that's a red flag. Why? I have no idea. If you're only, I don't know. I just think that if you're going to be serious in this, you need to have some main hub that people can go to find you other than social media. We do have some, I don't know where we want to go from here. We do have some EVPs from our last trip here at Pythian. Last trip. Good Lord, we're here every week. From last week.
I think these are actually over a couple of weeks because we discovered that if we just played EVPs from Pythian Castle, that's the only thing we'd ever get done.
Yeah, we don't play them all anymore because there's so many in a given podcast.
Did you just hear that?
I wasn't listening to that. I didn't hear anything. What was it?
It was like a guy.
I've been hearing stuff through one of our mics in the back while we're talking. For the past.
I just heard that.
Yeah.
The one that
Did you
said,
just hear that?
It went, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like in the background.
Which microphone is it coming through?
Almost constantly.
I won't know till I isolate them.
Is this one?
That one is turned down, but it will. I can go into the master mix and pull it up.
So we have a mic sitting here at an empty chair. Maybe someone's joined us. I don't know. I've heard 2 things since we've been here.
We've heard things here all morning. Even when we were just setting up stuff.
Yeah, when we were waiting for Dustin, we heard something earlier too. But anyway, we could sit here and be quiet and listen for it.
It never works.
It's never going to. Yeah, we might as well just keep going. So we do have some EVPs from last time. That I was thinking actually there was another email that I was going to look through. Maybe I'll hit that here in a minute. We went through I guess it was last week where there was just a ton of emails coming in for us about different things. A lot of people were wanting to tag along. That was what most of them were. People wanting to tag along. Like this one here, it says, we're hoping to become true investigators. We were wondering if we could tag along on an investigation sometime.
No.
We're well studied, but lack experience.
Sorry.
Well, no, I know. And that's what I said. I was like, we don't really take tag-alongs now. Nothing against you personally. We don't take any tag-alongs just because we need to know, everybody that's on site and we need to know them and what their proclivities are, how they operate.
We've told the story before of others that we've had.
The tagged along?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't that we allowed tag-alongs back then. It was just that, I guess that we did, technically. I mean, weren't a lot of people asking to tag along back then.
No, it wasn't as cool as it is now.
No.
I mean, to be honest with you.
And then there was another, that was Dustin breaking the chair.
Okay, I think I did.
Did you?
I lean back in this chair, and I'm pretty sure that it just... Okay, you guys keep going. I'm going to switch out.
Yeah.
Okay, switch them out. And then we got another one here. Yes, I'm female. I would love to go ghost hunting, but don't know who to contact.
Oh, it's female?
That's what it says. These are podcast listeners, by the way, before,
Cracks me up.
How, some people think that's going to, increase their chances of getting to come along,
Yeah, it's not. What?
Did you hear that?
I wasn't listening. What was it?
He said that and went,
Oh, I didn't. No, I didn't.
See? The ghost agrees. It's ridiculous.
I thought I heard something there, though. Here's another one. My friend and I are new to investigating. I'm curious if we can tag along. We got a bunch of those last week, over the past couple of weeks.
If you're in Springfield, Missouri, and we don't get any money off of this at all, nothing. We get zero off of this.
This is what I already said.
But I would suggest you, number one, take the ghost tour here at Pythian Castle with the real ghost, the ghost guides here.
That was my advice, and the response was, we're beyond that. So
okay, well, if you're beyond that,
then make your own group then.
Well, then at that point, if you're beyond doing that, then what you can do is you can come in, make a deal with Tamara, who owns the place here, to do a private investigation, which she will Now, she's going to charge you as any place else does, but then you can then come in here and gather stuff. And you know what? This is like a favorite fishing hole here. I almost guarantee you that you're going to hit stuff here at this castle.
Well, and actually what I said, I was like, hell, apply to be tour guides. I mean, if you want to get,
you
if you
want
to get your, be immersed into a situation, into a location that's 100% active, right, that would be a way to do it.
And we don't get anything off of it. We're not getting any kickbacks or anything else, but, either do a private investigation here, which you're going to have to pay for, or apply to be a ghost guide here.
And
at the end of the day, we just don't know you.
Well, and I know, and a lot of people,
if I don't know you, I don't trust you, and I don't want to do an investigation with you.
A lot of people email, their main question is, how do we become a big group like you guys, that get invited to places? And the answer to that is we never intended on becoming one, or we never thought we would. We never thought about it, I guess. I mean, I never did.
I never would have thought, hey, we should email some groups and see if we can tag along.
I would have never I would have never known there were as many groups as there are. In the state of Missouri, I would have thought, what are there? Maybe one in St. Louis, one in Kansas City, maybe one in Springfield, 3. No, there's 174.
Right.
So I would have never even considered, that. And a lot of people are starting out and they want to get their beaks wet. They want to get into one of the...
I'm not getting no beaks wet.
You're not wetting any beaks?
Nope. Not a beak wetter.
They want to get into the bigger places, which I understand. We did too. But they want to know how to do that, how to accelerate that process. And I don't know how to.
Well, and the other thing too, that I think you got to, if you really are serious and you really want to go out and be a quote unquote ghost hunter, paranormal investigator, whatever it is you want to call yourself, you've got to be willing to go to all the places that we have gone. Sit there on a Saturday or a Friday night or whatever night you've got to do this.
And waste your fucking time.
Yes, and not get anything. And then, by the way, after you do that, then the real fun starts. And that's over the period of the next week or two. Every single minute free that you could be out doing cool, fun stuff, you're sitting here listening to audio, most of which is this.
Well... And not only that, but you got to get your ear in tune to doing that. That's the part that takes forever. I mean, the obvious EVPs you'll hear, but the others, like some of these we catch in here now, we would have never heard those 10, 15 years ago.
Well, that's true. That is true. But on the other side of the coin, too, you've also got to be willing to throw out stuff because you're going to really want to get a ghost. After you have dedicated an entire Saturday night to going out and doing this, and then you then come back and listen to recorders. Let's say that you run 4 or 5 recorders in there for 4 or 5 hours. Doesn't sound like that big a deal, but now all of a sudden, this investigation is taking days of your time. Yeah. Days of your time.
Yeah.
You're going to want to find ghosts, and it really sucks, especially when you first start off, to go back and send a message to Chris that says, there's nothing on any of this.
Or what sucks even worse that you were touching on there is to get one and think, oh my God, that's an amazing EVP. And then you share it with others and then you realize, well, there's a chance that could be us.
We actually had that happen. One of the first times that we went to Ashley's house, I sent Chris a note that says, these are the greatest footsteps we've ever caught. Listen
it took us a while to realize that was actually me.
But when we retraced the steps, those steps were Chris, not a ghost.
And your gut is going to be to say that's the ghost. And
Absolutely,
post it and say there's the ghost.
Absolutely, it is. Because you don't realize how much time you've poured into this.
Yeah, your instinct will have to be though to throw out some of that good stuff. We've thrown out some stuff, even from the Willard, that place. We threw out some stuff and never included and never played it. It doesn't even exist anymore. That could have been some really good stuff.
It's one of the things that I'm most proud of, actually, is the stuff we've thrown out, just because we can't be 100% sure.
Some of it hurts to throw out too, because you're so sure it's not us, but you can't be 100%. That's why I like it whenever we do it the lazy man's way at an investigation and everybody goes outside for a minute. Because there's no chance, there's a 0% chance that anything we catch inside at that point is going to be something we have to get rid of.
I'm honestly pretty convinced that you could catch more EVPs just setting recorders up and getting the fuck out.
Walking away.
We did that.
Seriously.
We did that at the care facility in Willard.
I think the more you stick around and the more you hang around, the more noise you make, the more you pollute it. And
and that's where it comes into knowing your group members. You got to know, what everybody's doing and what they usually do. And you can be, I can tell when someone's walking upstairs, I can tell whether it's Tyler or John just by hearing them.
Because what do we really do? We go in, we take some pictures, We ask questions to try to get things started.
We don't have any magic touch.
No, that's it.
No, but I will say, though, that a lot of times, a lot of EVPs that we have caught, not all, but a lot of them are things that are either interacting with us, responding to us, things like that. Because if you look at that same logic here at the castle, when do we get most of our EVPs? Here.
Yeah.
When we're talking, it just jumps in for
that's
no
what
reason.
I was just thinking. Like at Ashley's house, I would never just set up stuff and walk away. I mean, we could, but if we've got, I want to, at her house, which we are going back to here after we do, the one next weekend, we kick more up whenever we're interacting. It gets, our EVP count goes higher whenever we're trying to elicit some kind of response of some kind.
But I do agree with Dustin that if you want to have a truly unbiased deal,
yeah,
it's
if
not
you don't
fun.
want to bother with tossing out stuff, sure, yeah, that's definitely.
It's not fun, but just go in and set up the recorders and leave. Now, the problem you're going to have then at that point in time is, say that there's a noise in the distance and no one's there to go debunk it.
Yeah. That's the problem.
That's
and we
a problem.
ran into that in Willard.
Willard was an example. Yeah.
The Willard, care facility, we ran into that a little bit. It's hard when you're not there to know, what the hell, where is everybody?
Every time we say, like, all right, let's go outside for a break, like in the back of my head, I'm like, all right, this is where we're going to catch something.
Yeah, we do catch a lot of good stuff that way, for sure. There's no doubt about it. And I just thought of another thing, another red flag that to tell people when they're looking for a group on this site. And I saw several of them, and sometimes you can tell by the name of the group, but I saw several of them that say, we have a sensitive on our team.
Oh, shit. We need one of those.
Well, or what did it say? It said something even more... Maybe it said, what? Did you hear something?
No, but I wasn't really listening.
I wasn't listening either. I was reading here at the moment. What'd you hear? A voice?
Yeah.
A whisper?
Yeah, like that.
Well, and we need to get to our
That's
EVPs.
another thing, too. Like, if you're ready to, like, listen through, like, 15 hours of audio just for...
Yeah, and it really is. It hurts. It hurts to do
like,
that.
What?
Yeah.
Speak up.
Yeah.
And then you've got to make sure that it wasn't somebody from your group that caused it, because there was one time that Hunter was in a room. It was a deal that Chris had told me that sometimes Hunter will he's not aware he's even doing it. He will speak stuff.
Well, what Hunter does is after he says a sentence, and my daughter does the same thing. I don't know exactly what it is. I guess it's just a habit. Whenever he says a sentence, he repeats it in a whisper to himself.
Yes, yeah.
A lot of people do that, and it has a name. It's not like a mental condition. It's just a habitual speech pattern.
Well, the first time that Hunter went out, I've got the audio that he's in the room.
I heard that.
Yeah, I did too. First time Hunter went out, he's in the room, and I sent Chris this thing. I said, my God.
Yeah.
Dude, this is the greatest ghost.
Because we thought we had a mimic.
Yeah, I said, this is the greatest ghost mimic I've ever heard. Listen to this.
Yeah.
I said, whatever he says, it shoots it right back as a whisper to him.
And the Hunter's like, no, I do that. I whisper shit to myself.
Well, and then you, after you've caught that, and after you've isolated it, and after you spent all this time, and you've got it all ready, and then Hunter comes in and lets the air out of your tires, you got to be ready for stuff like that.
Yeah. Yes.
Going back to what you're talking about, the group that said they had a sensitive, we've had people tell us that we are.
Are you talking about that? What was the name of that what?
Rainbow Warrior.
No, Indigo Children.
Yes.
What the hell is that?
I don't know. I can tell you right now, I'm not sensitive to anything.
That dude was a quack, though.
I think Ty is sensitive.
Ty is sensitive in a different way, but not to go.
Sorry, I just got a text from Ashley, and I was just looking through to see if there's anything pertinent on there that might be relatable to this podcast. It's long.
There will be.
So I'm just going to kind of summarize it here, and this is tricky because I haven't even read it yet. So she had a friend come over yesterday. She said he had ghost questions and such, so we went through the podcast for clips. Okay, so they went through the podcast that we did on her place, and they went through the website, and they were playing clips, and they kept seeing a tall black figure make a shadow in front of them, like it was going past the garage door near the stairs. And then about 15 minutes after she took him home, she started to interact with it, and she says her hearing became dulled, and all she could hear was fuzzy TV static, and she kept seeing shadows move fast in front of her, and it caused her to get dizzy. Let's see. She was also babysitting. Blah blah blah. She went to get some water and she fainted. Okay, so she went to get some water and she fainted. She did set out her spirit board for Halloween, but hid the planchette. And then her daughter has been seeing figures after bedtime. So the activity there has ticked up a bit. And literally, I just got that as we were just now talking here.
Well, and it's kind of amazing that activity there can pick up because it's already running at a high.
And it's one of those situations where you kind of have to be careful whenever you have, episodes. It could be something paranormal. I don't know. But I think the first thing I would rule out is other stuff. Whenever you're talking about, your hearing starts to fade and you get lightheaded and dizzy. A lot of times that can be something like blood pressure or blood sugar.
That sounds like blood pressure to me, honestly, because I used to have that same issue.
And that's not.
And your hearing would get dulled. Yeah. Your vision would start to tunnel.
It tunnels. Yeah. Anytime I'm going to pass out, which is not very often. I think the last time I passed out, I was with you. Remember that night I hit my head on your thing in your room, and you like set up. You're like, "What the hell was that?" I was like, "I think I just passed out." Yeah. Remember that was in your at your mom and dad's house. Yeah. I think that may have been the last time ago. Oh, good Lord, yeah, 30 years
going
ago.
back.
But anytime I do pass out, my vision tunnels, and then I always hear bacon frying, that sizzling sound. But anyway, I've
never passed out.
You haven't ever?
Never.
It's not been a very common thing for me at all. The last time I remember was that one I just said. But anyway, that was an email or a text I just got from Ashley, whose house we're going to go to soon. Next weekend, we're going to go to that Bury Me in Black clothing store here in Springfield, which is going to be pretty cool because that building's when did Melissa say that was built?
It's like 100 years old.
At least 100 years old. Yeah. And it's been, obviously, it wasn't a goth store when it was created, so it's been lots of things over the years.
Goth wasn't around. They just called it Johnny Cash during that time.
Yeah. I think in 1906 or something it was built, something like that. But anyway, we're going to go to do that investigation next weekend. That's going to be cool, though, because the owner's just going to give us the keys and say, have at it. There's two stories, it's two levels, kind of like the Bridal Place in Buffalo that we did. So we got a lot of investigations coming up, including the Bury Me in Black investigation coming up next weekend. We're going to have some on-location stuff at the Missouri State Pen coming up. And then we've also got to go to Ashley's house. And she's the one who just texted just a few minutes ago to tell us, about, yes, the lightheadedness, all that could be like blood sugar, blood pressure, but seeing black figures typically is not. Seeing figures walking around the house. And that's something, if she were just a stranger, we would apply a little more scrutiny to it than we do, because we've been there in her house and we've seen and heard all this.
Yeah, it's Grand Central Station there.
So we are going to go to her place. We just wanted to get this business, this Bury Me in Black investigation done first. So we're going to do that one coming up next weekend. We do have the EVPs that we talked about at the very beginning.
And these were recorded during the podcast here at the castle.
Let me go ahead and I'm just going to pull them up and here, let me just pull one up and play it.
It just sounds so like visceral.
I don't know what else I could be. We're trying to debunk it. So that's coming off of Dustin's microphone. That's why I sounded kind of distant in the background there. And you can hear the whisper. Is there something else beside the whisper's plenty.
Just the whisper.
I think there's something else.
Well, I thought I did
like
too.
A low, but
the focus of this was the whisper.
I hate to say growl, but it's like a low, like.
Well, we were playing growls, I believe, at this time. Let's go ahead and play it again.
It just sounds so like visceral.
I don't know what else I could be. We're trying to debunk it.
Maybe not.
Okay. But the whisper's definitely there, 100%. It's right after Dustin talks, and you can hear it there. There's no doubt in that. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one here. This is another one on Dustin's mic, I believe.
Yeah. What was the name of the dogs? There were two of them.
There were two. Yeah, it's right after you said, what was the name of the dogs?
And it's super fast.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. It's what we've been hearing today.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's do it again.
Yeah. What was the name of the dogs? There were two of them.
There were two. Yeah, I don't know. You can definitely hear the whisper there. And that's what we've heard today. Actually, before we even started, when me and John were just sitting here waiting for Dustin, we heard it out loud happen here at Pythian Castle, too. Let's go ahead. We've got two more here. Actually, we have three more, but as we listen to the third one, none of us could hear what.
Then let's just do the two.
So let's do the two. Let's go ahead and pull this one up. That was enhanced voice.
We're at Pythian Castle, by the way, in Springfield, Missouri. And
it's right about the time John says castle, I believe. Mm-hmm. Let me play it again. That was enhanced voice.
We're at Pythian Castle, by the way, in Springfield, Missouri. And
it never sounded like a woman. And I believe this one also sounded like a woman here.
There.
Yeah. That is the one that goes with it. Okay. Well, let's keep on. What was that?
I don't know.
I heard like a woman say like something. So I can do that one again. Let's play it again.
There.
Yeah. That is the one that goes with it. Okay. Well, let's keep on. What was that?
I don't know.
Was that just us three here?
Yeah, it's on Chris's mic.
It was I guess it was just three of us here. There was no. I mean, are you asking if Bobby or Melissa were here? No. There were no females here.
If anyone said, well, that could be a mouth noise. Well, not really, because how's Chris going to do a mouth noise over the top of Chris? Because that's on his mic.
Yeah. When you can isolate it by mic like you do, you can kind of whittle down what it is and isn't. And it would be impossible for me to make a noise over myself, especially that kind.
Right.
But I heard that whenever we were on site. I would have been aware if I had made some noise of some kind.
I think we all heard it at the time.
Yeah, I definitely heard that 100%. But yeah, there were no, it was just three of us. No females were here to have made that sound. However, we do have applications for females, Dustin, if you wanted me to grab one.
It's just, I don't know why it makes, and I'm with Tyler on that.
It makes him furious.
I get it. Like, it's just like what they expect to happen.
I don't even.
We're like, oh, yeah, oh, shit, yeah, come on. Like, no interest. It's like I said earlier. It's not that we don't trust you.
Well, it doesn't matter if you're male or female.
Don't care. Like, it does seem like we get an unproportionally large amount.
There's dudes too.
Are there?
Yeah,
okay.
There's dudes too. So,
I think a lot of it is just because it's cool.
Yeah, I think
it's gotten cool now. I mean, it didn't used to be, and now all of a sudden the ghost shows are, you can't turn around without hitting another ghost show
especially
somewhere.
when it's October. You know, it's even cooler. Our coolness fades. As the veil thickens, our coolness fades. Yes. our coolness thins.
I'll make a graph.
Do you think we've kind of become cool again around Christmas because of the ghosts of Christmas past and present and future?
I don't know, but that actually reminds me. I forgot to mention. I was going to mention that we got an email from a producer for Peacock. The Peacock app. I guess smart TV. What do you call those? I guess it's a channel.
Streaming service.
Yeah, it's stream. That's what I'm looking for. We got an email from a producer looking for some guy in Missouri who had a haunted ceramic lamb. And this is a story I'd never heard of before, I don't think. So,
wait, why is he messaging us about a haunted?
Well, it was she, and she's like, hey, I see you guys are an active, she was probably doing the same thing we do. It's like, hell, none of these websites work. Oh, here's one that works.
Right.
So she contacted us, said, I'm looking for a a guy in the state of Missouri who has a haunted ceramic lamb. Do you have any idea what that is? It was because they have a new paranormal show they're going to put on the Peacock channel. And they're going to put this story in it, but she couldn't find the dude's name. This is how those stories come together. They email, Joe Schmoes like us to try to find them. This isn't the first time that's happened.
Did you tell him that we can give him all the information he wants about the ceramic lamb, but it's going to cost you?
Well, no. However, I did find the guy. I found the guy with the ceramic lamb by searching and looking deep enough. I found a podcast where this guy was actually on it talking about the ceramic lamb, and he actually gave his name. And I got the contact information from that podcast, and I sent it on to her. And as a return favor, she sent to us an application for you saw this, right?
Yeah.
I sent it to all of it. Yeah. She sent us an application that we could fill out for it because they're looking for a new ghost hunters group to do a TV show.
Well, we're here.
Well, I'm working on it. I'm gonna fill it out because you got to include all these. You got to include a written part, which I've been working on, pictures and bio of each person, which I know everybody well enough to do that. So anyway, I was just going to throw that out there because that's one of those things that does happen.
We got to lean into it. We got to say, we've been told we're sensitive.
We're indigos, man. Is that the word? Indigo?
I thought it was like rainbow something.
Well, I think we're talking about the same thing. What the hell is an indigo? Children who are believed to possess special, unusual, and supernatural traits or abilities. Now, this is what someone told us one time. Not just a person. But a person who was supposedly at that point with
like a clergyman?
Who was like a demonologist type person. He said that we were indigo. He said he can tell when people are indigo children, and we're it.
He really doesn't want to get to know me. He doesn't want to be calling someone like me.
But anyway, he said we were it. Indigo children. We're not. We're just pointing out that we are not.
We are.
You think we are indigo children?
From henceforth, we are.
As far as Peacock producers go.
As far as any Peacock
I'm not even going to take. There's no way. I'm not even going to masquerade as whatever the hell an indigo child is for a TV show because they're the people who do that. What is that?
Well, Dustin and I are indigo children. Just because ever since you mentioned this thing here, Dustin now has revised his resume.
We're sensitives.
You can be indigo and John can be rainbow, or you can vice versa. Because the rainbow thing you're talking about is the same thing. It's
It
people
just
with
means
supernatural,
you're sensitive. You have special abilities.
supernatural abilities, which we absolutely don't fucking have.
Well, but I will go back and say that after doing this for this many years, you can hear things you didn't hear before. So if you'll count that as a supernatural ability, then I will say that we do.
That's a tuning your ear, maybe.
Well, I know, but you could still say that's supernatural.
Are you still trying to angle for the TV show?
No.
We're going to fill out the app for the TV show.
The only special skill I have is being able to take the groceries in one trip. I can't hear ghosts any better than anybody else.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
What?
It was
Like that. Something like that. And only indigos could hear that shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, listeners.
Yeah. If you heard that on this podcast, join the club. You're an indigo. I don't know. Most people listening have probably never heard of that. We hadn't either. But that's what we were told by a person who was masquerading around as a demonologist and a clergyman and all this stuff. And turns out that all those credentials were questionable at best.
You don't say.
Yeah. So anyway, we've got investigations coming up. What is it called? Bury Me in Black is going to be the place we do next. We've got Ashley's Place and the skilled nursing facility, which we're not going to say where that is, but we're going to do that one too. And we've also got houses that have emailed us. So we have a lot of, and we'd like to come back to Pythian soon too.
at some point.
What was that? Did you hear that?
I didn't hear it.
Didn't hear that?
I did not hear
The
that
little creepy baby noise.
Oh, no, I didn't. It wasn't the dog, Marvin?
It was like,
I did not hear it.
I don't even think Marvin's in here right now.
I like your imitation of it, though. I didn't hear it. It's absolutely not to say it didn't happen, because I rarely hear them. Even when we're on site at an investigation, I don't hear half the shit everybody else hears.
Now we know who's the most indigo.
That's you, right?
me.
Yeah. So that's why I'm put on our website. We have an indigo on our team who can, detect, who has special supernatural traits. That's what a lot of people think about groups like ours. Is they think there are supernatural requirements, supernatural traits required.
Well, I don't really subscribe to the supernatural part. I do think that after you've done things for as long as you've done them, as long as we've done them, that you get good at hearing and good at seeing and good at isolating things.
That definitely happens. So we do have the investigation coming up next weekend. Bury Me in Black. We'll hopefully bring back some good stuff from that. And our website, by the way, it seems like probably to people we're making fun of people who email us, but we're not. We're really not. Does it seem like we're making fun of people who email us?
I don't think we usually do.
Who did we make fun of?
Well, like the people who were wanting to tag along. I mean, we're not necessarily making fun. We're just trying to be very clear to people.
And here's the thing. I think we do need to clarify on that. We're not just trying to be mean to anybody who wants to join in, but as Dustin said, we don't know you. And if we don't really know you, we can't put our name out there and attach you to someone we don't know. You may be a great person. You may be an amazing investigator. But if we don't know you, we just can't go there.
Like everybody in our group has known each other our whole lives.
Yeah.
Pretty much, essentially.
Except for Melissa.
Yeah, the only exception would be Melissa and Bobby.
Right.
But
Melissa's like because of the Pythian thing and...
Yeah, there's a matter. I mean, there's no problem with trust as far as any of that goes. So yeah, whenever it doesn't hurt to ask, but just know we're not trying to be rude when we say no. I guess because I get tired of saying no. Yeah, I get tired of saying no because it sounds like we're being uppity.
And there are other avenues that you can take, like what Chris had mentioned. If you're in Springfield. Take the ghost tour here at the castle. You can do private tours here at the castle or any of that stuff. And that would be great.
And I actually told one person, I was like, hell, apply to be a tour guide. If you want to get immersed in it and get your ear tuned in, you'll definitely do it here at Pythian Castle for sure. So anyway, I mainly brought it up, because I get tired of telling people, no. But that's going to continue to be the answer, unfortunately, because we don't do any tag-alongs. There are groups out there who, for a $25 fee, will let you tag along.
Ooh,
look them up.
Hold on.
They really do, and there's one here in town that'll, for a fee, will let you come along. We're not, at that point.
At that point, I'll give you a free psychic reading.
We're not at that point yet. But anyway, I mainly get tired of saying no because it does feel rude, but that's just going to be the answer. Anyway, if you want to check out the website, it's mwghosthunters.com. Investigation of Bury Me in Black next weekend, and I guess we'll be back.
More from Pythian Castle in Springfield, Missouri next week. More Dark Matter with Midwest Ghost Hunters coming up next week.